So why did you tie
if it
those
is
people?
it's about service, if it's about service, the people you want to serve should be given the level playing field to choose between you and the other person.
Okay,
who
so
can
just
serve
so we
them
can
better.
manage our time, why did you tie those people? Isn't that
Why
violating their human
why they were
rights?
tied was that yes, as civilians, we have the right to arrest criminals, especially election fraud, election offense committers like them.
As civilians,
we
have the right to arrest.
We have the right to arrest, but when you arrest criminals, you hand them over to the law enforcement. And that was what happened. Even when my boys arrested them from the various police units.
Are your boys security officials?
No, they are my supporters.
So why did they tie them like?
They have to.
I
asked them not to beat them. The best thing to do was to keep them for security, to come and pick them. And I used my phone to call the DPO. The DPO who initially came to my ward, and the first two that were caught, one with Pisu. We kept them. Nobody dealt with them. Even not if you catch a criminal like that with a Pisu, the best thing to do was to burn the idiot.
Are you saying that? Are you agreeing to jungle justice?
Jungle justice, when you come to thwarting the interest of the masses on a very daylight like that, it can happen.
Now, in the words of Joseph Stalin, who is a revolutionary in the Russian Empire and political leader who led the Soviet Union from 1924 until his death in 1953, once said, "The people who cast the votes don't decide an election. The people who count the votes do." All right, our next one is from Carl Thomas, who is an American syndicated columnist, author, and radio commentator. He once said, "One of the reasons people hate politics is that the truth is rarely a politician's objective. Elections and power are." Now let's see how all of this quote will relate to what we will be discussing tonight. Very warm greetings and welcome to The Conversation. We're reaching you from KAFTAN's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Annabelle Oji. Now tonight, we'll take highlights from 2023 general election, all that happened during the presidential, the National Assembly elections, and the State Assembly elections to see exactly how we did, if we went wrong, if it was free, fair, credible, like some people have stated. And we have our guest, of course, on the show today. My first guest is Mukhtar Modibo, who is the head of data collection, USAPE deployment 2023. And afterwards, we'll bring a young politician who went into the ring to contest for elections in Ado constituency in person of Richard Oriri, who is a politician. He is a political journalist. And that is what we will be discussing tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Conversation. Welcome back. Now we have our second guest. He is Richard Oriri. He is a politician and a political journalist. And we're going straight to Benue State to know what exactly happened on March 18th, 2023. It's good to have you on the show today.
It's my pleasure, Annabelle.
All right. So tell us about Benue State. What happened? And we actually had the congratulations to the governor-elect. And then I actually saw some comments made by some people saying that after all, this governor-elect is still same from some from some godfather. I saw one person made a comment saying that it's still from the same George Akome, so it is still the same trajectory. Or how is he going to get some funds? So I'd like to hear from you first with what exactly happened in Benue State. Was it free, fair, credible? Was it a peaceful process that brought forth the governor-elect? And then how exactly do you see the governor-elect doing in the next 4 years?
Thank you very much, Annabelle. Coming from Benue State as a grassroots politician and a candidate for the just concluded State Assembly and governorship election in the state, I saw what happened in the field very clearly, and as a Benue person too, the emergence of the current governor-elect, that is Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia, is as a result of the abysmal performance of the outgoing governor, Governor Samuel Otom. I keep saying it on this platform that in Benue State, we lack a serious infrastructure, no payment of salary, pensioners are dying. He wasn't paying their pensions to them, and too many things happened in Benue State before the election, and that was what the masses, the electorate in Benue State, had just exercised on Saturday, on the 18th of March 2023. If you look at the result, the margin of the defeat between the governor-elect Hassan Talia of APC and the PDP, that's Uba, you will see very clearly that the statement was loud, the rejection was so loud, and it's the clear indication that they rejected the governor and his acclaimed successor.
So it's Reverend Father Hyacinth, the people's mandate.
That is the people's mandate. Because one, the person that the governor, the outgoing governor, wanted to bring to take over from him, he is the current Speaker of Benue State House of Assembly. And if you look at Benue State today, the debt on the neck of every Benue citizen is over 180-something billion. And most of these debts are loans taken by the states. Anytime the governor wishes to take loan, he just write to the state assembly, and the speaker will approve it without even thinking of the effect of it, the negative effect of the loan on the states. He will approve it. Those are things that counted against even the speaker. If you go in the election, his opponent, the Reverend Father, he defeated him even in his polling unit. That shows him himself as a speaker, a sitting speaker of Benue State Assembly, he did nothing to his people in terms of development, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of many things. He have not, nobody sees the speaker taking the interest of Benue teachers to his heart. He has not for once raised the issue of teachers in Benue State not being paid. He has not raised the issue of poor health facilities in the state anytime as a Speaker of Benue State House of Assembly. Not just as a Speaker, even as a member of Benue State House of Assembly, he is representing some section of the state. And the interest of his constituent at least lies on his shoulder. But he has not shown that. If somebody like that cannot project the major interests of the state on the floor of Benue State Assembly as a legislator, I don't think he can do well.
But he has been there
as a head of the executive.
But the incumbents have been there over time for 2 terms. So if they accepted him, so what makes you think that they might not want to accept someone from the same party?
He has been treading on the agenda of security and all of that. And the Benue people know what he was doing. He was just playing on the intelligence of Benue people on the issue of security. Now, he tried to use that against the Reverend Father this time. If you look at Facebook in some days past, like a week or so before the election, you see where the picture of the governor-elect, his Reverend Father Hassan Talia, the picture of him and the governor of Kaduna State, Ed Rufai, and even some Fulani elites where they met, they were showing it on Facebook and posting it everywhere, that if Benue people stand to elect him, Reverend Father Leah, he will hand over Benue State to the Fulanis. We don't play politics of a tribe. We don't play politics of religion. Yes, he's a Reverend Father. That counted for him as well. And basically because he majorly took his campaign. He majorly dealt his own stewardship along within the university environment, and so majority of Benue youth, they know who he is and they know what he can do if given the opportunity to lead Benue as governor. Okay. And that was one of the major reasons that he emerges on the 18th of March 2023 as governor of Benue State today. Okay. He's coming from a poor background, as just a preacher in the church. And if you look at his dressing and everything, you see that he has no godfather everywhere.
Okay.
Yes.
But because you talked about that godfather, and I would
Yes.
like you to address that or allegations made by some people saying that it is still from the same lineage of the godfatherism, the George Akume's that has been helping the incumbent. And then that's the same thing that will happen later on. Do you agree?
No, what really happened was that, to unseat the incumbent is a very serious matter in Nigeria, especially in Benue State where there's so much poverty. The outgoing governor has a lot of money within his environment, and if that is allowed to be used on the day of election, you know how it will work out for him. So,
do you have any evidence to prove that he has a lot of money? Have you seen his financial?
Who? He has a lot of money.
No money. Have you been privy to see his financial statement?
8 years, for the past 7 and 9 11 months now, 7 years and about 9 months now that he has been managing Benue State as governor. He has been receiving allocation, federation allocation, internally generated revenue is there. None of this money was used.
And he has not pumped them into
none of this money was
used
for infrastructure. None was used for payment of salary. None was used for investment in the terms of production sector. Nothing serious unemployment in the state. Everyone is crying. You can't go to any local government and see one single project initiated, executed, and commissioned by the state governor. So, why will he not have money within his environment? He has a lot of money. The only pure water selling in Benue State and the only bottled water selling in Benue State is Otom's pure water. The only plastic chairs is selling in Benue State is Otom's plastic chairs. All the investment are just to himself and his family. Nothing to the state. So it was a total rejection. And for the fact that the APC were going out to fighting the incumbent, because who wants to bring a successor, the best thing they ought to do was to look inward and look for somebody that the general masses of Benue State will like from the person's antecedent. And that was why they have to go and look for this Reverend Father, who is being liked by the majority of Benue people. And if you see the mantra that they write on was yes, Father. Yes, Father. That is the slogan everywhere in Benue State. Nobody wanted the man to even bring 1 naira to them. If you are killing him with your words, selling him, destroying him with your words, and you will sell Benue to Fulani. Once you write anything against him on Facebook, you see Benue people reacting to it, to your statement.
He has already been accepted.
Yes,
so
Father. He has been accepted by Benue people.
Let's talk about all that happened during the elections. Now, I actually saw a video that you posted where you put out that there are some alleged international observers, and then the way they were tied down like animals. Why exactly did you and your group members do that to people? Isn't that human rights abuse?
I contested the election to lead my local government as a member of Benue State House of Assembly. I contested for State Assembly. And as a candidate, everyone was threatened that I was going to win, despite I was coming from a very minority party, the Social Democratic Party. And
so now you agree that SDP is a minority party?
It's a minority party, especially even in my local government. No, it's a minority party. SDP is a minority party. We are not a major party. We are not in government. Individually, as a candidate, we sponsor ourselves, just like individual candidates. We ran the election on that platform. And the whole thing was so glaring that this boy was going to take it. And too many interests he came on board to undo me, and I take it to faith. I like what has happened. It's democracy. One person must win. And the APC candidate has won. And what actually happened was that the sitting House of Reps, I've accepted long ago, because before I even went into the contest, I have two things in mind. Either I win or I lose.
So did you congratulate the winner?
And I was not desperate in what I was doing. If the people want me, they will vote for me. And the vote I got actually came genuinely from the people who want me to represent them.
So did you genuinely congratulate the winner?
I have congratulated the winner.
Okay,
the very day of the election, I congratulated her. What happened was that the City House of Rep member, is from the same ward with me. And his name is Francis Ontagbo. He's representing Adokpoko Ogbadibo at the Federal House of Representatives. And he said, I contributed to him not returning back to the House of Reps. He performed abysmally poor. So the people rejected him. But he led the allegation on me. And the other brother, Patrick Konuma, who works with Zenith Bank before but was sacked because of fraud he committed in the bank.
Oh, that's allegation.
Yeah, it's not allegation.
And that's slander.
It's a fraud. You know, it's a fraud. He committed fraud in Zenith Bank.
That is slander.
And he was sacked. And now he's in APC. The brother is in PDP. The brother, who is a City House of Rep member, came to play anti-party in favor of his brother, who is anticipating to either become the next secretary to the government of Benue State or commissioner for finance in the state. So since we are from the same ward, if I emerge as House of Rep member, then the chance of his brother becoming either SSG or commissioner will not be there. So that was what happened in that line. So for what he did now was to support the candidate of the APC, who is from another side. So he came with two buses filled of fake people, which he later gave them the tag as a fake European Union observers. And intelligence information that we got, I even on a day before the election, I went for a security meeting.
Do you have evidence to this?
Yes, now. I went for a security meeting on the day before the election. Security meeting of the local government stakeholders, including the DPO, DSS, and everybody. And I presented the matter before them. We got information like some persons have imported foreigners into the local government. I'm not desperate in what I'm doing, and I think other candidates should not be desperate as well. Because if we come with foreigners, arm them to come and kill the people, when they kill them, who will then now lead if they become if the person eventually announced as the winner of the election? If you kill the people, who will you lead? So we should not be desperate. Anybody that wins, we are in our mind, before I even ventilated my interest to say I want to represent my people, the first thing that was in my mind was how to serve my people. And the same thing should be what in the mind of every other candidate.
So why did you tie those people?
It's about service, if it's about service, the people you want to serve should be given the level playing field to choose between you and the other person.
Okay,
who
so
can
just
serve
so we
them
can
better.
manage our time, why did you tie those people? Isn't that violating their human rights?
Why they were tied was that yes, as civilians, we have the right to arrest criminals, especially election fraud, election offense committers like them.
As civilians?
As civilians.
We have the right to arrest.
We have the right to arrest, but when you arrest criminals, you hand them over to the law enforcement. And that was what happened. Even when my boys arrested them from the various police units.
Are your boys security officials?
No, they are my supporters.
So why did they tie them like?
They have to.
That's violating their human rights.
I asked them not to deal. I asked them not to beat them. The best thing to do was to keep them for security to come and pick them. And I used my phone to call the DPO. The DPO who initially came to my ward, and the first two that were caught, one with Pisu. We kept them. Nobody dealt with them. Even not if you catch a criminal like that with a pistol, the best thing to do was to burn the idiot.
Are you saying that? Are you agreeing to jungle justice?
Jungle justice, when you come to thwarting the interest of the masses on a very daylight like that, it can happen. The masses, they were so angry. If you see the annoyance on their faces. If not that I am a true leader, I don't think it will happen the way it happened.
If you say that jungle justice can happen, you remember what happened during the religious blasphemy, and then the lady that was killed, that was maimed in Sokoto State, and a lot of people came out to
anger can cause anything.
So are you saying that it is
anger
right?
Can cause anything. Anger can cause any, especially for democracy. Somebody coming to suppressing your will, your interest, not to freely select somebody that you want to lead you. Anger can make you to do anything, but you have to suppress their anger and allow them to keep them. Keeping them, maybe one person even said to my hearing that if they just keep them like that, they will run. That the best thing to do was to tie them. They tied their hands to the back, their legs, and kept them on the ground like that. I called the DPO. I was not even around when the DPO came to pick them again. I asked about 4 or 5 other persons to stand and be watching them. Nobody should touch them again. And they left them like that. The DPO came and picked them. Right now, as I'm talking to you, they'll be handed over to the police. But between now and a few days to come, you will not find them in the police net again.
So you don't even trust the DPO that you gave them? Is that what you're saying?
But the law says if you arrest, hand over. And that has been done. It's the responsibility of the police now who have the constitutional right of prosecution to do the prosecution. And if this is still left with them to say, we are leaving them, it's their own. I have no right for prosecution. And the masses, my community people have no right to prosecute. They actually came to the community to suppress their will. But they said they will not take laws into their hands. And that's why when they are caught, they have to keep them until law enforcement came to pick them. Even military officials were there. But they said they cannot, even if they should take them, they will equally still take them to the police. So the military people were there watching and say, until the police come. And the police came and picked them to their station. They took about 4 or 5 of them like that. One will piss you to the police station. Nothing happened to them. Even one person that collected the other one phone. I collected the phone and handed it over to the owner, one of the criminals.
All right, even as we begin to round up, our time is fast spent. So now, with all that happened during the 2023 elections, from the presidential elections down to the assembly elections, we saw a pocket of violence in most places, so voter suppression, voter apathy, and election trading, trading of votes and all of that. And then in some pictures, we actually saw videos and also videos of where people put sacrifices in polling units, and some people said it was just to stop people from coming in to vote. With all that happened, and yet you still have some high and mighty that were pulled down, and you have other candidates brought in from other parties that were brought in. We saw a 26-year-old lady who won in Oriri state. We saw, like some people say, a Megoin, that's an Okada rider who actually won it for Labour Party in some other states. In all of this, is this actually a win-win for our democracy? And is this sustainable 2027, 2031?
From here, I want to sincerely thank INEC for the introduction of BVAS. That BVAS worked very well, and I want them to maintain that, to improve on the BVAS in our subsequent elections in Nigeria. Yes, the BVAS contributed in pulling down, it contributed in allowing the masses to pull down the high and mighty, just like you put it, in this election that that Nigerians just conducted a few days ago. Yes, on the other side of it, Nigerian majority of our local people, they believe in cash and carry election. Like the vote I got from my local government came genuinely from people who really want me to represent them, haven't known who I am and what I represent. That vote genuinely come from them because I gave nobody 1 naira. Why the APC candidate and PDP candidate were going around with over 20-30 million naira cash given to people at various polling units.
Like I said, as long as you don't have evidence to prove this.
I have evidence. I even packets of bags of Maggi and salt, people coming to pick to the various polling units, distributing naira in cash. But me, I have nothing.
Where did they see the cash when there's no cash at all?
They bought cash. Even they called me from the bank. If I have money, I have some people who called me from the bank because they know I'm a candidate. In the bank, they trade with the current, they are manipulating what is happening now in this scarcity of a naira. The money is available in the bank, but what they did within the election period was to be selling these notes to politicians. They called me, if I have they sell 1 million naira for 1.2 million. If I give 1.2 million, they give you 1 million cash. If you give them 10 million naira, that is to say 200,000 naira times 10 is what you pay in addition. So somebody that don't even have 500,000 naira to give you, you are calling. But I went around. That's why if you see my campaign.
So you don't have 500,000, but you know some other persons have 10 million.
They have millions. Like PDP gave money a lot, Oton gave money a lot to all the House of Assembly candidates to enable them deliver their local government to the party. But they couldn't because it was a total rejection of the party in the state, or Tom especially, that they don't want anybody from him to even take over from him, especially the Speaker of Benue House Assembly, who have done nothing within this 7 to something years that they have spent as government officials. Him as a speaker, he has been the one approving all the loans of our term. So he has a lot on his neck that cannot take him anywhere. So that was what happened generally in Benue State. And the APC candidate, they got money from the center here, there's Abuja, and they got money from the state, they got money from various people. So she has a lot of money within her disposal, and that was what she used in this. Even the Francis Agbo that came wasn't using his money. It was the money given to him by the candidate of the APC that they used around. But at the end, I came out with 2,228 votes.
All right, thank you so much, Richard.
So I love what happened, and that's why I know very well that the result of what INEC announced that day was the true reflection of what the voters who went to the polling unit to cast. And that's why I have to accept defeat immediately without even wasting time.
That's actually
and I
good.
Congratulated her immediately that day.
That's actually a good place to end this conversation. The fact that you accepted defeat and then you congratulated the winner. Thank you so much, Richard Oriri, for talking to us tonight.
It's my pleasure.
All right, viewers, that's all we can take on this episode of The Conversation. We actually talked to Mukhtar Mudibo, who is the head of data collection, user bay deployment 2023. And now we've been talking to Richard Oriri, who is a politician. He is a political journalist, and he was the House of Assembly representative. He contested under the SDP to represent the Ado constituency. And it's been a wonderful time here on The Conversation. Thank you so much for tuning in. Keep watching The Conversation, because you never know what my next topic will be all about and who I will be talking to next. Until I come your way again from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am still Annabelle Oji. God bless you and yours, and God bless Nigeria.